monster.
I'm your number one fan.
Now clear your minds. Notice what scares you. It has from the very beginning.
You know, it's Halloween. I guess everyone's entitled to one good scare, huh?
Just been informed that zombies have entered the building. They're at the door. They're coming in.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Midnight Monster Corner podcast. I'm your host as always, Corey, and alongside me is my good pal Tony. What's going on, brother?
Not much, dude. How you been?
I've been good. I'm digging this movie. I'm ready to talk about this film.
Right away, huh?
Well, obviously, first and foremost, how's your week been?
Week's been good, man. Week's been good. Yeah. Been watching a lot of stuff, been listening to a lot of music. Just back and forth, man. A little bit of music, some movies. Just getting inspired with all the shit I've been listening to and all the shit I've been watching. So, yeah, dude, it's been fun. I love doing that. Just something about and I always say when you're listening to music, especially when you're listening to metal, it's kind of like an experience where you have to. You don't do it. Like if you're working out or something like that and you're like, oh, let me put this song on or something when I'm working out, you know, if you're in the middle of something like, oh, I'll play some music while I'm working on this or this and that. Sometimes it's like, well, sometimes music's an experience like movies or watching sports where you have to sit down and just pay full attention to it. And you'll catch little things that are happening. And it's such a great experience when you can do that. Because you just kind of free your mind and just really pay attention to the intricacies of the songwriting and the orchestration. Just whatever you're listening to, man, it's all got it. It's a good way to, and I always kind of push it like, hey, man, especially when you're getting like a new album or you're listening to something new, you don't want any distractions. You want to keep your full attention on it. So, but yeah, I've been listening to some good stuff lately. And watching some crazy stuff lately too. But yeah, man, just it works fine. Yeah, work was good. Still implementing new things at work, so that's kind of crazy with hours and whatnot, and then getting adjusted. But it's almost done, and we'll get back to normal. Some hint of normalcy soon. So, how about you, dude? How's work been for you? You started a new schedule, and
oh yeah, so yeah, well, I've been on it for about a month and a half, 2 months now, and just the free time that I'm getting is awesome.
Yeah.
I've been pushing for this for years for us to do it, and it seems like everyone in the plant's been kind of against it.
Really?
But it's well, I mean, for the most part, but like once it's out there and people are thinking about it, it's like, okay, you're getting more time off. So essentially, I mean, realistically, within a month, you're actually only working 15 days. So that's awesome,
Yeah.
So I mean, I've said it time and time again. I'll work more hours so I could have more days off.
Exactly.
So that's what I'm doing. I'm working 12-hour shifts. But it's not like beforehand, like when I was asked to like stay over and work 12-hour shifts and stuff, like we were working 6 days a week, and then like I would work 4 12s within that week, and then just 2 days like some 8-hour shifts, and it was killing me. Like by that fourth 12, I was done. Like I was done with life, it seemed like. But with this, I mean, I can knock out 2 12-hour shifts and no problem. I get 2 days off in between. It's amazing. So
having off in the middle of that would be beneficial too for your body and your mind, just to just get a little bit of a break and kind of recharge the batteries and whatnot, and then get back to it. Yeah, that's beneficial. Yeah. That little break in the middle.
Yeah, something I still have to get used to, and which this is my week to do it actually, but something I still have to get used to is working during the weekends. So like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I do have to work occasionally, so that does suck. But I mean, other than that, it's not too bad. So. But like I said, I still get more time off, so that means more family time, more time to do stuff with everyone, and now that I've actually got my whole schedule for an entire year, so I know what days I'm working for an entire year.
Yeah.
So like I know when I can take off and stuff. So it's pretty cool.
Man, it's such a benefit. You can plan stuff ahead of time, and
Exactly.
knowing it's nice knowing, especially a year in advance. That's great, dude.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have a set schedule and you're getting it like that, then that's completely beneficial.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's awesome.
Hell yeah. I'm glad you're enjoying it, man.
I am, yeah. Yeah, but like I said, it's a lot of people. Well, a lot of people are wanting it, but some people don't. But I mean,
Yeah.
they just try it out.
You can't
No.
please everybody, man. That's just the way the
No.
world. You can't please everybody.
No, nope.
Somebody's gonna complain.
Always.
There's always that. There's always somebody.
Yeah. Oh, but yeah. I'm ready to get into this. You are?
Yeah, dude. Let's dive right in.
So, folks, we got a treat for you tonight. We we got a treat for you guys.
Yeah.
No, we're continuing on doing Todd Sheets films, excuse me. And then this one here, what a crazy title. I like this title.
Love the title.
Dreaming
Great.
Purple Neon from 2016. That's fun.
Oh yeah. I
Well,
did. I love
well-
it. And then the title card pops up and the font is like old 70s grind. I love that shit, man.
That's exactly. I mean, that's with the title. That's what you think of right away.
Oh yeah.
You know, I was honestly, I guess because the word neon is in it, but I was instantly like thinking like Neon Maniacs.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Oh,
something like
obscure reference at it. What a movie.
that.
Good stuff.
No.
I was gonna say before the movie started. I think you watched this on Tubi, right?
Mm-mm.
No.
No, I watched. So, folks, if you haven't seen this movie and you want to go check it out, we don't want to spoil it for you. Go check out this film on Amazon Prime Video.
Okay.
You can rent it there for standard definition. I rented it for standard definition for $1.99, and it was actually really good quality. Really
Okay,
good
cool.
quality.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just $1.99. Go check it out, guys.
Yeah, you watched it pretty much on the the same quality I did because I popped in the DVD. So I know there's a Blu-ray out there, so
Mhm.
it definitely has a high def transfer. But
And
yeah,
I mean, if you want to go check it out in high def, they have that too for $2.99. But
Yeah.
I like to save a buck.
I know, man, you get the Dollar Tree pickup to get it. You got to get it.
I found a Todd Sheets movie in Dollar Tree,
Nice.
so there you go.
Nice. Hell
It's
yeah.
out there.
Hell
So,
yeah, dude.
but yeah, so continue with what you were saying
Oh
as
no,
far as the intro.
I'm sorry, I didn't know. I thought it was on Tubi. Excuse me. I
No.
apologize. I know that in the when the movie starts and stuff, they have two. I remember last time we talked. I think it was for our Bone Hill Road review, but we
Mhm.
had because I brought up to you the Shaw Brothers opening.
Yeah.
So when credits come up, you see it's definitely a Shaw Brothers homage. But then on top of that,
I wrote this one down
Oh yeah, it was a blatant Marvel. Marvel.
for the extreme entertainment.
Yeah, that was hilarious, man. I got a good laugh out of that.
As soon as that popped up, I was like, are they ripping off Marvel right now?
And you know what's funny is this movie came back or was made. I think it came out in 2016. So that's right in the height of the Marvel craze, where all these movies were getting just blown left and right. People
Mhm.
are all see these superhero movies and the Avengers and all that shit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just funny. I thought that was pretty neat. I thought it was a nice little touch to kind of get a little laugh out of the audience. You know, if your audience finds shit like that funny, which let's face it, I thought it was funny. A lot of other
Yeah.
people, you know,
I was more or less confused. I was like, that is what I'm seeing, right? I
Yeah.
wrote it down. I was like, okay, that's got to be a Marvel ripoff right there.
that was very blatant. I can definitely tell.
All the comic book, real quick, I was like, that's Marvel.
Flipping through the pages, yeah, it's straight out of Marvel, definitely. But dude, I just wanted to bring up real quick the budget for this movie.
Oh, what was that?
What if you had to just take a wild guess? What would you think was the budget for this movie?
The budget for this movie.
Everything that's in it.
Yeah. So, you know what? I'm gonna go. It was probably cheaper than Bone Hill Road. Okay. And I believe Bone Hill Road was like 13,000 estimated. So I'm gonna go like 8,000.
Dude, the budget for this movie was 3,500.
Really?
3,500 for
All right.
this.
So that makes me kind of wonder what the budget for the last film that we covered was.
Clownado, yeah. I
Yeah,
thought about
because
it too.
like I wasn't a fan of Clownado, and I mean this was packed with a lot more shit.
Dude. It
You
it
know?
certainly was. This movie is, I think, one of Todd's most ambitious movies for sure.
Hmm.
There's so much going on here. And like I said, Todd is, to me, I'm starting to realize he's like the cross genre guy in horror, where he's like taking different genres and like meshing them into one movie.
It really
Because we
does.
talked,
Yeah.
and now with this one, it's like very obvious. Like even the beginning of the movie when it first starts out, very, very Pulp Fiction. Even there's a character named Ray Ray who's blatantly a Jules Winfield, Samuel L. Jackson with the
He's
the
got
Jerry
the
curl,
fro.
Jerry curl, and even there's a scene in the end or toward the end where it's like he's doing the exact same thing Jules was doing at the end of Pulp Fiction. So I'm
Well,
like, man,
here's the thing. Here's the thing with Ray Ray's character. I was noticing that. So that's funny you say that he's like a blatant, almost kind of like a blatant ripoff of Pulp Fiction, because throughout the film, he's actually like quoting "motherfucker" so many times. Like in instantly, like I was like, wow, Samuel L. Jackson would have been good for this role.
so
But yeah,
automatically, people that know me know how much I absolutely love Quentin Tarantino movies.
oh, yeah.
So you're doing a homage to any Tarantino, if dialogue, style, what have you, movies that do that, I'm already like, yep, they get brownie points for me for doing that, having the balls to do that. Because I mean, let's face it, Quentin's got some of the best dialogue in film. So whenever you homage anything Tarantino, it's like, all right, you got my full attention. So starting out the movie like that is automatically I'm hooked. I'm like, all right, I'm in this. Let's see where this goes.
Hmm.
Just right out. But if you had to like summarize the plot of this movie, which it's very out there.
Hmm.
Um, how do you think it would go if you tried to summarize this? I mean,
Well, I mean, that's tough. So basically, pretty much the subplot is you got a love story uh in the middle of uh, or I guess you would say caught up in a drug debacle, along with a demon possession. Essentially, that's what it is. Like I don't know, it's fucking weird. Well, how would you go about putting that wording that?
but we have a mixed smorgasbord of a crime film,
Yeah.
a little hint of like a romance subplot with a satanic. I'd throw it back to satanic panic movies from the 70s. I mean, this is like an exploitation film, so I
Mhm.
would throw that in there too. Just meshed together, blended together. Um, and then once that's done, this is what you get. You get Dreaming Purple Neon, where with a lot of homages to different films too. Um, one just off the top of my head, Reanimator with the purple neon in the
Yeah.
syringe, glowing purple, which is really cool touch.
Yeah.
Just like Reanimator, the reagent glowing green. Excuse me.
Well, some of it was glowing green too.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, I noticed that the shit coming out of their mouth when they were injected, that kind of sludge, kind of.
Yeah, but no, they had like beakers that they were like mixing in the lab, and it was like green. Yeah.
Exactly. But basically, so in the beginning of this movie, we have two gangsters who are trying to get their supply back from, I guess, one of their dealers,
Mm-hmm.
who I guess tried to rip them off. So they're pressuring him to tell them where their supplies are at, and he's not going for it. He's not saying anything. So they essentially take care of him, shoot him. The secretary, I guess, that works for them, or I don't know what she is. I guess she's just like
She's like, yeah, she would be like a secretary type deal.
best
Yeah,
thing.
she's just caught in the wrong place at the wrong time, really.
He's working for them, obviously, but I guess to some extent, and I wasn't sure. I guess she wasn't prepared for, because she said, "Oh, they shot him," and I was, kind of there. I was a witness almost, and they left me in charge because they're like, "You call the cleaners, get them to clean up this mess. We're going to go out and find our stuff," and she basically double crosses them, takes the drugs that they do have, the neon that they do have, which that's the drug of choice that they're dealing is this purple neon. And his guns, which he calls them the twins. I love that.
Can I just stop you right there?
Go ahead, dude.
In this scene where she pulls out the guns, I was like, damn, those guns look like they've been fucking painted gold.
They do.
Okay. Right behind her, there was a can of paint. And it had gold paint dripping down the side of the can. And I was like, well, I guess that's it.
Well, yeah, definitely, dude. They were definitely spray painted gold for sure.
But it was the thing. It was a paint can behind her. And I was like, okay.
There you go. A little behind the scenes, like production stuff. And,
Yeah.
But so basically, she rips them off. She's supposed to meet her friend who just got a new job at a dentist office, and she's supposed to meet her for dinner. So she, instead of taking, which I thought was funny, she didn't take, and they brought it up in the movie too. She didn't take it directly to the cops. She took it to her friend instead, because I guess she didn't want to miss this dinner. It's a big important dinner. She didn't want to miss it. She took it to her friend. She brought the stuff there. I guess the two gangsters catch wind of this, go confront her there, and now they're confronting her and the rest of the office, because I think there's a dentist, a dentist assistant, and then there's a secretary at the front, and that's all that's working there. And then you have people that are kind of waiting, not waiting, but there's only one. I don't know why I'm even talking about this, but just basically bringing up all our characters. So we have I forgot to even mention, we have a drifter coming back to town. His name is Dallas. He's pretty much our main character. He's been out of town for a while. He comes back. He wants to rekindle his romance with Denise, who is the gangster secretary's good friend that she's trying to meet for dinner. Her name's Kat, by the way. So he goes to her office as well with his friend to meet her there and kind of talk through their stuff, maybe get back together. And then the gangsters get there, so everybody intervenes at this dentist office. All the while, there's a satanic mass going on in the basement of the. I know this is crazy. Of the dentist office. He
actually tries to get them out of there before any of this goes down.
So yeah, that's our Cyrus character, right?
Yeah.
So he kind of owns the building.
He's the building owner, and he comes from a long bloodline of satanic cultists, if you will.
Right. So he is trying to essentially bring on the end of the world, trying to resurrect this Hell Queen, as they call her.
Abaddon?
Abaddon, yeah. Abaddon.
Yeah.
Which I thought was, usually in movies where they're trying to, conjure up the devil or something like that, they don't really say anything about a Hell Queen. So that right there is kind of different.
It's a neat touch.
Right. So that goes on while they're trying to, all these characters are intervening upstairs. All that's going on in the basement. And then that leads to just an insane climax. But that's basically, I mean, give or
That's it
take.
in a nutshell.
Yeah, the plot, the synopsis of this in particular movie. Which this movie right here is basically an American German splatter movie. There is so much gore.
It was a very gross film.
Oh my God. I've seen a lot of gore in my time. I've watched a lot of gore films. I'm kind of a gore hound in that aspect. I love my gore. So when I'm like nauseated by a scene, that's saying something. Like, you're really pushing the boundaries of your gore. And there was one scene in particular where I'm like, oh, that's gross, man.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting that at all. I know what scene you're talking about too.
Oh my God, dude. But there's so much German splatter influence in this movie too when it comes to the gore. I mean, just buckets and buckets of like guts and blood, and it's just visceral. Even more so than Clownado, I think. I mean, I think this is Todd's goriest film that I've seen, which is saying a lot because he plays with the notions of gore films very well, and he skimp on the gore, and it's always practical. I love that. He sticks, man, and I appreciate it. But dude, there's tons of gore in this movie. I mean, just insane amount. Like, and not just that, but gore set pieces where they really hinder on like a certain scene and trying to drive. The one scene in particular with a drill. That's just like, oh. Like, fuck, man. Kind of reminds me of City of the Dead or City of the Living Dead from Fulci, but instead of the drill going in the head, it went in the crotch. And it was like,
damn. I mean, essentially just making, well, we can go ahead and say it was Tyrone, basically making him a new asshole.
Oh, yeah.
I just, it was gross. There was so many gross scenes. To sit here and say that with a smile on my face, that's really messed up. But but yeah, so yeah, the scene in particular that you're talking about is pretty messed up. But yeah, with that, the gore, I have noticed that throughout this is now my third film that I've watched from him, and just every time I've watched it, it's like it's getting a little more and more intense. Yeah, in a sense. And all these came out around the same time, the ones that we've covered so far. So I think the first two that we covered came out in around 2017, 2018, and then this one, 2016. So all around the same time period. But this one, even though it's like the older one of the ones we've seen, I've seen him kind of do the similar thing, but the way that he makes the guts look and stuff like that, it looks realistic.
Yeah, it's consistent. It's consistent in every film. Like his gore, it's never a little off in one film or not. It's very consistent throughout. Which I didn't think about that until you brought that up. But it's funny the way we've structured our discussions on these films and how we've covered them in the order that we've done. Because really, to your point, man, starting from Bone Hill Road, going to Clownado, and going to this, the gore has increased each film. Until we got to this one, and it's just this to me is his goriest film, man, that I've seen. I've seen a handful of his movies, not all of them, but it just, dude, the gore is just absolutely fucking gnarly in this movie.
It kind of makes me want to go check out some of his older films from like the 80s and stuff.
Absolutely. His definitely his zombie bloodbath series. I definitely want to check that out to see how crazy and gory those are. But this is I'm trying to think. The best way I can describe it is like an homage to German splatter, and I just keep thinking that just the way the gore and the sequences in which you see like just things getting ripped out, and it's so similar to those films. It's like an American version of those films to me. So, I mean, that's basically the best way I can describe it. and like I said, that's not for everybody. German splatter is definitely not for everybody. It's visceral and like it'll turn some people off. So,
Oh yeah, I mean,
or
I've watched like necromantics and not into it.
yeah, that shit's different. It's a different beast. But hey, like I was saying, if you don't like extreme gore and very visceral gore, you're not gonna like this at all because
No,
it's
this film is not for everyone, really.
not for
Uh,
the part.
I guess if you're more into the extreme gory stuff, kind of like we are, this is up your alley.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
But I gotta say, man, Tyrone and Ray Ray, I love the back and forth between them, the characters themselves.
Hmm.
Some of my favorite characters. Um, just the way they play off each other, the way, just the way when they call in the one dude to find his neon and his guns that he thinks are hidden in like a dumpster, and they call him up and they were like, "Yo, man, you got to go. Hey, you feel like doing a job for me?" And then like, "You got to go buy this thing." And then the dude gets there. He's like, "This motherfucker, he's got me out here in the middle of nowhere, and he won't even answer his damn phone." It was just so fucking the just
The
the
dialogue was funny. I
oh,
liked Ray Ray. There was one that had me fucking cracking. Ray Ray, I forget the guy's name that actually plays Ray Ray, but he at one point he he just says stuff so smooth and calm. And the dialogue I got was, "You got a complaint? Good. Now shut the fuck up."
no, because Tyrone's like, he's like, if anyone's got anything to say, this is my complaint department right here, and he pointed to Ray Ray. He's like, yeah,
Yeah.
you guys got any complaints? Good. Then shut the fuck up. Just the way he said it and delivered it, it was just so smooth. Like I said, man, it reminded me of like a lower budget, like Samuel L. Jackson. It really did,
Yeah.
because he just has that charisma that Samuel Jackson has for
Hmm.
sure. On like a more indie scale, I wouldn't say low budget, an indie scale. Uh,
Hmm.
but dude, I did want to ask you. I know you're a music guy. You pick up on the score. What do you think of the score?
I liked it.
Oh, dude.
I liked it. It was kind of upbeat, kind of intense in some moments. Um, it went for me for this film. It kind of went further than just the score because, like, there's a whole musical aspect to everything with certain filmography, with certain films. Um, this one, I really liked picking up on the chanting and stuff that was used throughout the film. I thought that was cool. That was a neat touch.
Mhm.
Um, really, the score really hit it home for me because it like turned into like this kind of like 90s metal almost. It felt towards the end of the film.
Mhm.
That's the way I felt about it. But throughout the film, yeah, I picked up on the score. I was like, I'm digging this.
Yeah, I even like the song in the beginning when you start the movie. When you start the DVD, there's like a punk rock song that it fits with the tone, and I just love that. I really like that song. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But the score, yeah, I agree, man. The score is fucking fantastic. I loved it. Especially they had a budget of $3,500 like that. To get a score like that for a movie like this with that limited budget is phenomenal. I think it's
Yeah.
great. It whatever they paid the guy that did the score for this, they got him for a bargain for what they got because
Yeah.
the score's great. I enjoy the hell out of it.
Mhm.
Definitely stood out for me with the gore and the gore and the score. Like they both stood out big time in this movie.
Yeah. I was blown away by all the, like I said, by all the gore. That's what I was blown away. Honestly, I even wrote it in my notes that because basically throughout the film they get away from the drug dealers and they make their way down to a basement. First of all, that crawl space,
Oh, dude, yeah.
it's like this fucking big.
It's like a small. So I can see the little girl getting through, but everybody else is like, no fucking way. Like
Yeah.
it's so
No.
fucking narrow. It's so small.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah.
I did get a kick out of that too.
But yeah, when they made their way down to the basement. Well, okay, so before that, I want to talk about the
All over the place here.
it is, and that's what this movie is. It's all over the fucking place.
It really
But
is.
so the sequence, the whole like satanic sequence that occurs. What's your thoughts on that?
So I was curious because they take this chick and basically they're using her as a vessel for Abaddon. I can't remember
Yeah.
the name. I think that's close. But
Yeah. Abaddon.
so I was confused because I was like, okay, I was confused, but then I thought about it, I'm like, all right, well that makes sense because when she's they're like going through like different rooms and stuff to get to the basement when they're like taking her along with them. She's seeing like all these set pieces of gore happening, all these moments where people are getting like ripped apart or like just something terrible's happening to it. I'm like, is this shit really happening? And I was thinking about it, I was like, well, I don't know if this is really happening. This is all in her mind. And then I was like, okay, they did inject her with the neon. So maybe she's seeing all this crazy shit happening and they're just walking her down this through these rooms and shit like that. Nothing's there. But in her mind, she's seeing all this crazy shit happening. So it wouldn't surprise me if it was real because there's so much insanity going on in this basement right before this.
Well, yeah, but as they're making their way through this basement, they're seeing all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like a drill.
The way it was shot, I didn't know if she was the only one seeing it because it was kind of shot in her perspective of her being kind of like slowly being transfixed by the injection of the neon and her slowly starting to kind of succumb to it. So I didn't know if that was going on in her mind or if that shit was actually happening in reality. That was what I was confused about. But then I chalked it up to, okay, maybe it is happening in her mind because I know all the main shit was happening in the basement where the ritual was supposed to be taking place. So I just wasn't sure yet, but I just, in my mind, internally, I thought maybe that's just because of the neon and it's just affecting her mind. But, dude, there's a lot of fucking nudity.
Well, wait a minute now. If you remember, and this is kind of going, so to your point, Tony, I think that you're somewhat correct, but I think Abaddon brings on that look of horror throughout that basement, because if you remember at the end they're like, okay, this is the way that I remember the basement looking, and then they walk out because it looks like a normal basement at that point, and then they walk out. So it's like, okay, well, I mean, beforehand there's like gore, there's body parts laying everywhere, there's shit all over the walls, it's dark, it's bleak, and then there's these bright colors of purple and green and stuff like that, but then like once they were done and they were towards the end of the film, she was like, this is the way I remember the basement looking, and then they left.
What did she say? That the girl that was because
Denise
was the one that
but I'm thinking that the whole dark ritual is what's causing it to look like that.
Okay.
So to your point, I don't think it's really there.
Okay, it's not reality.
But it's there in their minds as they're going through this basement.
Right. That's how I took it anyway. Yeah. Kind of took it because I know that it affects, and I don't know if that affects everybody. I mean, drugs affect people differently, but this shit. So basically, what the elixir is, or what neon is like demon blood, or demon blood, essentially, that they're manufacturing into drugs so that they can affect people. And so when they resurrect this hell queen, she has pretty much a leg up on corrupting people, I guess, so to speak.
Well, she can turn anyone that has taken the drug into a demon.
Into a demon, essentially, yeah. It's a demon film too. So, yeah, man, it's that scene though. I mean, all the shit that went, and I thought about it, and I didn't realize it was Cyrus. I knew it, of course, but I was like, why does he already look like a demon? Is there conducting the ritual? But he had a mask on, so I was confused by that. I didn't know if that was just low budget, like when I first saw it. And I've seen it times now, but When I first saw it, I was like, "What? There's a demon conducting the ritual already, so something's already conjured this demon up." I was confused. But then he took the mask off. I was like, "Oh," because I thought that mask was just low budget, a low budget mask for a low budget movie. I thought it was, part of the narrative. So
Yeah.
he was there when I first saw it, but that's just something I brought up. But man, like so much full frontal nudity from both women and men. Like there's
There
dicks.
was.
I mean, it's fucking nuts, dude. Like I'm like, oh, it's almost an assault on the senses, in that scene. It's just a lot.
I'm gonna be honest with you. So the whole scene where so they first bring her in, and then there's like these four guys or whatever. They get on all fours and essentially create an altar with their backs.
Yeah.
And then she lays across them. And then as they're putting blood on her, they're putting like an upside down cross on her chest and everything. She starts touching herself and moaning like crazy. Yeah. And it blew me away because like all these guys there with like I don't mean to be gross, sensors, sorry, but they were all limp. I don't see how they would have held that together.
They were all flaccid, yeah. It's hilarious.
Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I would have probably gave a standing ovation.
Good choice of words there, my man.
But yeah, I was like, and the scene went on for so long. Like that's the thing.
I was like, oh shit.
And like, I mean, just yeah.
Well, as soon as and the effect with her nipples just being pointy and with like spikes coming out of it, that shit was funny.
Her nipples became horns.
Horns, yeah. So something with Todd and like nipple, like shit going on with nipples in his movie.
He didn't do it. At one point the camera kind of went up her body as they were performing this ritual.
Yeah.
And like I was like, oh, here comes the close up on her no parts. And he didn't actually do that this time. He just kind of zoomed right past up to Cyrus, and I was like, oh, okay. Well, that's kind of unusual.
Yeah.
For him.
It subverts your expectations.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Because I mean, at this point, I've never seen a full frontal like female like fully nude in his films, and this was the first time. And I thought for sure like he would have like zoomed in on that part or like, once again the nipples, but he didn't.
Yeah, but nipple mutilation is his thing, man. He's
apparently
yeah.
Got a little Cannibal Holocaust there. Not Cannibal Holocaust. What?
Ferox.
Yeah.
Oh god, dude, that one's. But yeah, it's an ongoing theme in his films. I've noticed.
Mm-hmm.
Some nipple mutilation. Dude, it's just so much going on, dude. This movie's fucking nuts. I like the look of the dentist too. He's not your typical looking dentist. He's like a punk rock dentist. He's got full sleeves.
I noticed his tattoos on his neck and shit.
Yeah, you don't see dentists like that too often. I thought that was pretty neat. And then his secretary is kind of punk rock too, with the hair, and I was like, man, this is like a progressive dentist office. I like this. Man, this is pretty.
Kind of makes me wonder if if the majority of the cast was his friends.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, you're seeing another thing going down this journey that we're going down in his movies. You're seeing a lot of the same faces, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the same faces.
And I want to point out the girl that plays April Donovan. That's her name. The little girl. So she is essentially the girl in the scene with the whole ritual. She's not the vessel. The vessel is April, the little girl. Well, she's not a little girl. She's probably 18 or 17 or 18, somewhere around in there.
Yeah.
But man, can she really act? She can really act.
Well, she impressed the hell out of me in Bone Hill Road. She really did. But yeah, she was the vessel originally because when Cyrus comes in the office to kind of tell him, hey, I told you guys that we need to be out of here at a certain time. I guess he was kind of like getting them out of there before the real shit hit the fan. But then he saw the girl when he was there that I think our dentist's name was Solomon, that he was working on, and he was, doing whatever she needed. I don't know what she needed. dentally done. But he saw her, and then all of a sudden he's like, "Yes, I found the vessel." And he was telling his I can't remember his crony's name, the dude that was locking up the building, and the crazy guy.
Jerry.
Yeah, I can't. Jerry. Okay.
Jerry.
He basically told him, he's like, "Yes, I found the vessel. I found the perfect vessel." So after it's almost like it shifted his priorities when he went in there. I guess he was going to use the chick that they brought in just to be the vessel. And they saw a younger vessel, I guess, that was more acceptable for Abaddon. So he's like, "Yes, that's the one." So it kind of shifted his whole. Instead of getting them out of there, he's like, "No, they need to stay. We need to get this girl." So I thought that was pretty neat, pretty fascinating. But yeah, I like the fact that they used Tyrone and Ray Ray. Basically, Cyrus used them to get this drug out there on the streets to infect just about anybody they could, because they knew that they were pushers, and well, he knew that they were pushers, and they were doing very well. So he's like, "Yes, these are the guys I need, because I'll spread this out around the city as much as possible, getting these two to push my product." I thought it was fascinating too. They're like, "Oh, well, it's not just something you can inject. We're making a pill. We have different forms that you can inject this drug. It's not just an injection with the syringe. So that's getting it out there to even more of a mass audience too."
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty good. They covered their tracks in that way. It's like, well, if it's just getting this drug one way, it's going to kind of cut your exposure down. But using it to where you can get it out there in multiple different ways for people to ingest it and take it. I thought that was pretty neat. Good there, for sure. But even in the ritual scene, I know I'm going all over the place here, but even in the ritual scene, as soon as she is, I guess, not fully Abaddon, but she's like possessed by. That's one thing I didn't get. The vessel that they use in the beginning, the first ritual, that's not really Abaddon, is it? Because you see her true form come out of.
Well, in a sense, she is a vessel, but she's actually carrying Abaddon in, I guess you would say, I guess as a kind of a surrogate mother, if you will, because obviously, spoiler here, where this is the gross part. Pretty much, she gives birth to a baby, and it's like a demon baby. Oh, it was the grossest thing ever. There's so much meat and fluids and just.
That's the part that got me nauseated, because it looked like something you would get from like a high school lunch. It just looked gross.
It looked like 2-week-old roast beef covered in blood.
Well, it had like this chunky kind of like, I don't know, man. I can't describe it. I could only describe it as something you could get like in the soup that you would get at a soup kitchen, or like a high school that was really just disgusting, and it was all put together weird. It's easy to explain, but just seeing it is so visceral and so disgusting looking. It made me just get a little bit nauseated. I'm not gonna lie.
Just the amount of fluid that came out of this woman was just ungodly.
No, gross, man. I've watched a lot of German splatter, so that's saying something. That's saying something.
So they take the baby over to the new vessel.
Yeah.
And then that's where they sacrifice the demonic baby. And then essentially the new vessel drinks the blood, and then out pops Abaddon.
Yeah, it just pops out like I said.
Out of her stomach. Alien ripoff.
I think about Lamberto Bava's Demons, when that demon came out of that chick's back. Like just popped.
Yeah.
Demon, yeah. Just popped out of this girl's back. Was essentially what you have here. This fully formed Hell Queen with also spiked nipples. That's a running theme with. I mean, of course, it's the same, Hell Queen. So she's gonna have spiked nipples too. They were a little bit bigger this time though.
Yeah. And white.
And
I didn't notice that.
It was the same one that played the stripper in Clownado.
Okay.
I believe that's the same actress.
Okay.
So,
I was wondering. I know I did notice quite a few of his actresses and actors from his other films. So
faces in his movies, definitely.
yeah, that whole basement, dude. Like I even wrote it down in my notes. Like I just love how it just felt like I was in a haunted house attraction the
Yeah.
entire time. You had body parts hanging from the ceiling and stuff, and it was just fun.
Yeah. I mean, it just blows my mind, and I'll go back to the budget. It blows my mind the amount of gore that you get on a budget like that. It just do it, man. How do you, with 3,500, how do you make that everything happen in this movie you made happen on that budget? It just that is like basically just killing it with your production. That's getting as much as you can out of every single cent of that budget, man. No doubt about it. Impressive job on his part. I couldn't even imagine how he was able to do that on this budget.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was at least 10 grand. I'm not gonna lie.
No, I mean, yeah, I thought it was like I said, around 8,000 is what I thought, about 8,000-9,000.
Yeah.
So I was kind of similar to where you were. I mean, it definitely shows that you can definitely sit here and watch this film. You can even go to YouTube and watch the trailer and say, yeah, this is a low budget film.
But even he's got more cast in this movie too. So that's
so the cast members, there's on IMDb it's up to 88 cast members.
Yeah, I mean that's heads and tails of even Bone Hill Road. Bone Hill Road did not have that many cast members.
No.
So, man, it just blows my mind, dude. I'm thoroughly impressed of what he was able to do with that budget, man. I can't get over that. I'm just, it really blew me away.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna try and get my hands on a copy of this because I liked it.
Good little.
Oh man, once I got past the some of the gross stuff.
Yeah, well, it's like I said, the assault on the senses is the perfect explanation for it. I mean, it really is with everything going on. It's an assault. You see the gratuitous nudity, the gore, like it's just, oh man, you get knocked out, 1-2 punch from both.
Yeah. What did you think about the battle scene?
The battle scene toward the I wrote down in my notes that there was a moment when that creature was coming up the stairs that reminded me of the Void.
What did it remind you of?
The Void.
The Void. Okay.
The same kind of creature that was used in that. I don't know why that's the first thing I thought of when I saw it.
I thought of there was a what was the movie? Gosh. Emily Rose. What was that? You know which movie I'm talking about? Anyways.
The Exorcism of Emily Rose?
That's it. I couldn't remember it right off the top. But yeah, there's a scene where she's like I guess like the demon or whatever that's possessing her like makes her articulate her whole body and everything. And she like actually like I don't know, it's popped weird. Yeah, she's very contorted and like her head is like spun backwards and shit. And I was like, that kind of looked like that a little bit. It's pretty cool. I mean, you could clearly tell that somebody was just crawling up the stairs backwards.
Yeah, that Reagan spider walk from The Exorcist kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but essentially. I thought it was cool. Going back to your question, but the battle at the end. I wrote this down too. It seemed like everybody's close connection with either a close friend or a family member or something like that. They were battling toward the end. So our main character Dallas was essentially surprised that he was like essentially fighting his brother, who he thought was dead. Well, he is, but he was resurrected and he's fighting him. And then Denise is fighting her friend Kat. And then even Ray is fighting Tyrone. So it's like these people they're close, they're really, really close with, they're fighting with toward the end. So I thought that was pretty neat. Neat little touch on Todd's part. I know that was intentional. So, but yeah, the ending scene was nuts, man. It was the fucking battle. All the
Well,
shit.
I wrote down before we get into that. So the battle scene before shit went down, right? You had all these demons kind of standing in the room. Abaddon was sitting on her altar or whatever, and then Cyrus was off to the side. And that's when the lights came on, and they realized there's a room full of demons that they had to face. And it cut to different people, and different people said the same, like different things. Like one guy said, "All right, bitches, it's showtime." Somebody said, "Let's do this," and then it cuts to it cuts to what's his name, Dallas, and he goes groovy. Just like, to what? I like the fact that throughout this battle scene, like they had to find a drop cord so they could plug in this fucking table saw.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good stuff, man. Good stuff.
It's trippy.
It really is, dude. It's just
Yeah.
you pack so much in this movie. It's so ambitious. This is like when I think of an ambitious film, I think of this because there's so much thrown at you.
Yeah.
Different, like he said, Todd's that cross genre guy. He likes to mix his genres in with his horror. So
Hmm.
I'm all for it, dude. I think it keeps the plot and everything refreshing because it's so complex in a way. Then again, it's complex because you're co-mixing these genres together, and that's what kind of makes it so complex. So, I don't know, man. I just the ending is crazy.
So yeah, so we can go ahead and get into that. So the ending, they essentially they found out what is hurting her, because remember it's said throughout the film, or there's dialogue saying that she's very vulnerable for 48 hours.
Mhm.
So when Cyrus gets hurt, they all realize, oh shit, she's hurt. So then they start hurting Cyrus. Multiple people are attacking Cyrus at this point.
Yeah.
And it's essentially it's killing our demon. So, now that it's the end of the movie and all the friends are pretty much dead, and who was left? It was Dallas and Denise, right?
And his friend, what's his friend? Chris, yeah, those three.
So those three were the survivors of the basement.
Yeah, everything that transpired in that basement in that building.
Yeah.
They made it out, or they were able to get out into the world and see what was happening. Which there was a little line of dialogue that said, I can't remember a character, that when Abaddon, I guess she let out that scream, she was able to pierce and interject all the people that had taken the drug in the real world and turn them into essentially like rabid demons, aka or almost like infected, like the infected,
like zombie type.
Yeah, it turned them into infected where they're just tearing people up.
Mhm.
The whole world's infected now. I thought it was funny. The guys tried to call 911. I'm like, yeah, that's not gonna work, dude.
I like that. I like that you brought that up. So if you listen closely, it said something about all services are cut off, and then it starts going into a demonic voice.
Yeah.
And it says you're not going to be saved anyways, or something like that. And it's like, that's a cool touch.
Yeah, that it was crazy, man. Just another way for Todd to inject more crazy gore into the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I thought up into that basement scene when they get out, I thought I was like, oh man, that was a lot of stuff getting thrown at you, and then boom, even more stuff gets thrown at you, and then you go, holy shit, man.
I like how at one point it shows like an alleyway of like these demons ripping apart people, and then it shows the survivors again, and then it shows more alleyway destroyed again.
Yeah, more gore.
Yeah. and then you got a character that pops up at the end.
Yeah, the Gene Simmons.
So on IMDb, I was telling you pre-game before we record. So the Gene Simmons, he looks like Gene Simmons. That's why I was like, I've got to find out if that's actually Gene Simmons. Turns out it's a guy named Scott Simmons, and the character name isn't Gene Simmons. It's Almost Simmons.
Oh, Almost Simmons. That was it. Yeah. What are the odds, though, man?
Yeah.
The Simmons.
Oh man, but he looked the part, dude.
Because I know
Yeah.
even that's not his real name. He's got like a different name, but still,
Yeah.
Simmons is funny.
Scott Simmons.
Yeah,
Oh man,
fucking
that's
great.
hilarious.
Oh yeah, so good.
But yeah. No, one of my favorite scenes in this film. I did want to jump back. Did you notice that? So the guy's name that went to go get the drugs, his name was Willie.
Willie Green, yeah.
Billy Green. And he comes in, and as he gets, I guess you would say massacred by, well, I wouldn't say he's massacred by, but Jerry fucks him up, right?
Yeah.
So did you notice that, like, at one point there was, like, blood spurting into Jerry's face, and Jerry's, like, trying to catch it in his mouth?
Yeah. This dude's fucking, he's off his rocker. Like,
Yeah, something. He was just like, ah, ah. And I was like, what the fuck?
yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, that's what this movie was.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of that. A lot of that. What'd you think from Cyrus? You would think of the acting from Cyrus. I thought he was very theatrical and over the top as with his portrayal.
Yeah.
Which you would want if you're, like you said, if you're the leader of this cult. Like you would want a guy who's theatrical
Yeah.
and I'll go back to maybe not the same type of acting, but you could kind of see similarities there. But the guy from Hack-O-Lantern, the cult leader from that movie, I don't know if you've ever seen Hack-O-Lantern, dude, but the guy from that movie is so over the top with his acting. It's hysterical. It kills me. And well, Cyrus is more subdued than that, but still, he was theatrical over the top as well. So, yeah, I thought it was very convincing though, as a
Yeah, I liked Cyrus as the cult leader.
way he delivers his lines. But it's the way he does it.
Almost very pompish, like.
Pompous, yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Good term for it.
I liked it. It was like he knew what he was doing, you know.
Yeah. Well,
and again, it stems because his whole family came from this.
Exactly. Which, yeah, makes sense. He was so cool, calm, and collected most of the time. Nothing really seemed to faze him. Even when he was trying to get Tyrone and Ray kind of like to get on board with what he was doing.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they have a conscience. They're like, "Hey man, we'll deal drugs and shit, but this satanic shit ain't for me. I'm out. Like I don't want anything to do with this." So
okay, so if I was I'm sorry, but if I was Tyrone in that position, and I'm in a room with a satanic cultist and a fuck ton of demons making drugs, and they're like, "I want you to be a part of this," and I'm just like, "Yeah, okay," because if I don't, you're gonna fuck me up.
Yeah.
Case in point, he got a drill to the asshole.
Yeah, asshole. Yeah.
That was really messed up, man. Because like at one point, I wasn't ready for that. Like all of a sudden, all you see is like there's a crotch shot. Man, his pants are on. And you got this fucking drill with a drill bit like this fucking long, and it is just reaming the shit out of. I mean, it's just like loose meat just flopping around everywhere, and it's like, it's
the gore's nasty. The gore's so nasty.
It is a nasty film.
That's as much as a compliment as I can give. I mean, it just works. Oh, dude, I wanted to talk to you about the scene too. So, in the beginning of the film, I know we're bouncing around, but in the beginning of the film, Dallas is going to I guess he's meeting up with his friend at his job. He works in this comic book store, and when he meets up with, you know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
So up with them, he leaves. He's kind of like starts flipping out on him, and then he leaves. So the guy's like, "Oh, whatever. I'm going to go to work then." So he's up there. I guess he's working the cash register, and this dude's bringing up fucking full cheese, Cat in the Brain, Zombie. I saw Zombie, and a couple of lower budget indie horror films. And I'm like, "Oh, dude, I love seeing that. That's so cool."
Yeah.
the guy buying them, and he's like, "Oh yeah," he's like, Brent's like, "Oh man, if I didn't already have these in my collection, these would be mine." He's like, "Oh yeah, this shit's great. I love it." I'm like, "That's just the horror fan and Todd Sheets. That's all that is." Yeah,
Yeah.
those titles out there.
That's
But
it.
because it was the old Blue Underground DVD of Zombie, and I
Mhm.
love the cover. I love that orange, the cover, all of that's so nice. And
Yeah.
Cat in the Brain, that Grindhouse DVD is absolutely fucking stunning. When it came out, it was fucking great.
Yeah.
Packaging, the cover, everything. Like it was, I dug the hell out of it. I thought it was pretty cool. I was like, very, very nice that you put Fulci in here and give him some love because he deserves all the love. He's the godfather of gore, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's the Italian godfather. I guess Herschel Gordon Lewis would be the godfather of gore, but there's a big debate in that too.
That's funny because there was in the credits. If you paid close attention to the credits, I let the credits play through because I don't know if you did on this film, but there's actually scenes afterwards.
Yeah.
Too. But and I don't know who those people are, but you could tell that they were just somebody he added into the movie. But it was of the apocalypse. I don't know if you caught that. Did you let the credits play through?
Did a little bit, yeah. I did a little bit. I saw the production stills of people,
Yeah, no, there was a couple more clips of yeah.
Probably.
But anyways, what I'm getting at is in the credits, as the credits was rolling, it said something about dedication to, and the first name that popped up was Herschel Gordon Lewis.
Cool.
There was a laundry list of people that he pretty much dedicated this film to. So
I wonder if Fulci was in there because he referenced Fulci films in the movie.
I think I saw that. Yeah, I think he was right under Herschel Gordon Lewis, but it happened so fast because.
What I thought that was interesting. If that's the case, then I wonder why he didn't put in when the guys up there buying the movies and stuff like that. I wonder why he didn't throw a Blood Feast or a 2000 Maniacs in there. In the TV. I don't know. It's curious, just to kind of push that a little bit more.
I think maybe they probably were just in this movie store and they just picked out a couple good titles. Maybe they didn't have Blood Feast or something.
Yeah, they picked up two great titles, man.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking Zombie and Cat in the Brain are excellent, so can't complain there. Fucking great. But yeah, I love that. I love seeing that in movies, especially indie movies, because indie movies can get away with doing that. So
yeah,
I always dig that. That's so cool. Even I think they did the same thing in Don't Fuck in the Woods. There's a movie. There's a scene in the movie store. And they were talking. I don't know movies, but there's a couple of indie films that I've seen that kind of do that. So I love seeing that shit.
Mm-hmm. That's fun.
Yeah, good stuff, dude. So,
well, you ready to get a ratings?
Sure.
Okay. You want to go first? You want me to?
I can if you want, man.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, I love the ambitious quality of this film where you take different genres, you blend them all together, and that's what Todd's doing. And he did it excellent in this one, where he took crime films, fucking satanic panic movies, even a little bit of a romance, which that's my one critique in the movie, which I will say is the schmaltzy love dialogue between Dallas and Denise. Oh my God, was it fucking terrible. I hated it, dude.
Mm-hmm.
It's so, just so, I don't even want to say cringeworthy. It's just, can't stand that.
I knew that right away watching this film. I was like, yeah, Tony's not going to be big on this part.
Eat it, dude. Like, he's just like, oh, my heart's bleeding for you. I can't live. I can't breathe. I can't function. Just going on and on. I'm like, dude, enough, please.
Yeah.
Just stop.
Well, I had to come back to town because the letters stopped, and then you finally changed your number.
I can't live without you. My heart. Everything. He even got to the thing where he's like, I went and built this house, and all the blood, sweat, and tears and nails I put in every board was all for you. And I'm just like, oh. That's one of my one critiques. I was like, I could have used a little bit less of that shit. Like, yeah, he likes this chick. He came back. We could have subdued that a little bit. He didn't have to be fucking over the top and schmaltzy. And it was just couldn't stand it. Couldn't stand it. But like I said, it's my one little critique. Well, my biggest critique, I'd say. But yeah, everything of the gore, the score. I'll go back to the gore and score. I love both.
Mm-hmm.
You can almost nauseate me with gore. You're doing something fucking really good. So I'll give him immense credit for that. I love the characters of Tyrone and Ray Ray. Put Tyrone and Todd. Put these two characters in more movies, please. We need them in more of your movies, man. They're great.
Literally as Tyrone and Ray Ray too.
It's literally as Tyrone and Ray Ray. I know.
Just keep writing them in as that.
Yeah, before Dreaming Purple Neon, just do a movie about them too. I'll watch it. I love their characters, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking funny. I mean, like I said, I'm once again blown away that he was able to get this much out of a budget like that.
Yeah.
Speechless, man. Absolutely speechless. But my rating, all things considered, I gave this, like I said, this is my favorite Todd Sheets movie. So I gave this a 4 out of 5 on my Letterboxd rating. I mean, I just enjoy the shit out of this. I've already seen this movie 3 times this year. Because I did, like I said, before we even talked about doing the Todd Sheets retrospective for this month, I watched it a couple times. So it's probably my favorite Todd Sheets movie. I know I haven't seen all of them yet, but right now it is my favorite Todd Sheets movie. So,
okay.
Yeah. 4 out of 5.
Yeah. Yeah, with me, I mean, I wrote down literally 2 pages of notes. I mean, it blows my mind what was accomplished with this movie. And again, this is honestly just our opinions, because this might not be for you, or anything like that. Especially the whole baby scene. That's really out there.
Yeah, I could have done with that. Honestly, it just it didn't add anything. I mean, they could have.
They could have ripped like the demon's heart out and cut it and made her drink the blood like that. But no, Todd Sheets had to just go for it.
Yeah, well, sometimes I think with filmmakers, especially low budget filmmakers, if they're doing a lot of gore and stuff like that, they'll do shocking gore just to shock the audience, just to that sticks with you. And it's like, no, I mean, it could have been the fact that it's there. It's like whatever.
Yeah. But so all the gore and everything, of course, I'm a sucker for gore, and one thing we didn't touch on was the amount of body horror that's in this movie.
There's tons of it.
And I'm a fan of body horror. I love body horror. I love all the little quick homages and one-liners to other films that we love. Bonus points for me when you brought up the movies in the movie store and just everything. Like you, I could have done the love story did kind of go with this film, but I think we could have used less of it.
Yeah, they heightened it so much where it's like so over the top.
Yeah,
it's just, we get it, man. This guy, he likes this girl. He came back to see her and stuff like that. You didn't need to be so over the top.
Yeah, we didn't, through multiple shots, be reminded of why he came back or why he left town, and, what was drawing him back to this town. We didn't need all that. But I can throw that out the window. The thing at the end that I didn't like was all the ash that was kind of floating around in the air around them. I didn't like that.
CGI.
Yeah, and even I could have done without the aerial shots of the cities burning. I get it. This is an apocalypse at this point. That's fine, but you could have done without that and still got the point across.
Yeah.
I mean, the shot where they come out of the building and you see a glimpse of Abaddon in the sky, that was a pretty cool shot. I like that shot. That kind of worked for me. But all the other, added stuff towards the end, just I was overly done with. So it was a lot of editing issues that I felt. But there was also the basement scene where it felt like a haunted attraction. Each room was different, and each room had its own section of horror. Even like they went down one hallway, and there was like this janitor, and they were like, "Sir, do you know the way out of here?" And he turns around, and he's got like this mutilated face, and they were like, "We'll just go this way." Like, but you would see that in a haunted attraction.
Yeah.
So I felt like I was there in a haunted attraction with them. It was fun. This is a fun film. I am actually, so I rated it a 3.5. But once again, after talking about this film, I am going to change it because I had fun with it. So I am going to actually change it to a 4 out of 5 as well.
Nice.
So,
Yeah. I had
like
to do
I said,
4. I had
it's
to do
just a
4.
couple. It was like I can't sit here and definitively outweigh the bad versus the fun. I wouldn't say good because by far this film isn't a good film.
Yeah.
It is a fun film. So
Yeah. Mainly when I do the ratings, it's more like on my fun factor, especially with indie and kind of like movies that are really low budget and stuff like that, or especially with shot on video. We haven't done any shot on video yet, but I know when I do rate shot on video, my rating will be a little crazy because shot on video movies are historically bad, like terrible. But I have fun with them, so I'll rate them high. And even on my letterbox, if you see some of my reviews for some of my ratings for shot on video, people will be like, "Dude, there's no way this movie deserves to be that high," or there's no way the movie's terrible. This isn't that. No, man, that's more of a reflection of how much fun I have with the movie.
Yeah.
If I can laugh, I can cut up, I can just enjoy myself. Like, I'll give you 2 examples. I have 2 movies on there on my letterbox: Winter Beast, and the other one is what is it? God Almighty, I can't think of it. It's something along those lines. Frostbiter. Yeah, Frostbiter. That's the other one. So I have 2 of them on there. 2 really low budget films, terrible movies. I mean, just production wise, awful. Editing, acting, everything, just bad, 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 bad. But those movies to me are so much fun, and there's so much like love going on with like the creature effects or stop motion creatures. I'm a sucker for that stuff. I love that stuff. So whenever I see stop motion creature effects, I fucking love a movie. But those 2 movies in particular, I watched for the first time. I'd never seen them before, so I didn't know what I was in for. And I had such a fucking good time with them, man. To the point where I'm like, this movie, I had to rate them like a 4.5. They're nowhere near 4.5. But on a fun factor, on a fun scale, I had so much fun with them. I laughed. I cut it up. I was so impressed by how bad the stop motion looked, and this and that. It was like the complete opposite of what you normally look for when you're critiquing a movie or this and that. I had so much fun with them. I had to rate them high, and people would be like, "Dude, you're fucking crazy. There's no way in hell this movie is 4.5, almost 5. There's no way." But it's just the fun I had with them. It's the experience I had with it. It's almost like an experience rating. I had such a fun time with them, and they were first time watches for me that they shot up my radar, and I'm like, these are some of my more fun. Both of them are like later, like 90s movies. I think one of them was shot in the 80s, but technically came out in 90. And I'm on a tangent here. I'm sorry, but they were so much fun. I never saw them before. I had to rate them high. And they're 2 movies, dude. I want to sit down with you and watch them. I think me and you will have a fucking blast watching these 2 movies together. We will cut up. We'll just joke around with like all the shit that's going on. The characters are fucking off the wall. They say hilarious stuff. I mean, but it's so bad that the line deliveries, and it's dude. There's 2 movies me and you have to sit down and we'll have like a double feature for.
Okay,
and
I'm game.
Have a couple of drinks and just fucking crack up.
I'm
telling you, you will have an experience watching these 2. It's awesome. But yeah, basically my point. I know a long-winded point I'm trying to make. A lot of stuff I rate on my letterbox and stuff. It's a fun rating.
Yeah,
That's and basically what I'm doing here. I mean, my favorite Todd Sheets movie, I had to rate it higher than Bonehill Road and Clownado because I like it more.
Yeah.
I mean, but I still like those movies too. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm before.
Yeah. And that's that. Honestly, like after talking about it more so, that's just it. I had fun with this.
Yeah.
So
You get so
had a
much from
blast.
from
Yeah.
that budget. And that budget went a long way. I think every bit of that budget they got, and then some. But how he's do it, still shocking to me.
Yeah. I mean, he's the man. I can't wait to see what we're gonna do next because
Either.
this is gonna be a tough one to one up right here.
Yeah, we haven't even discussed our next one yet, so this is gonna be fun.
Yeah. Well, you ready to land it?
Yep. Yes, sir. Let's land it.
Cool, man. Well, folks, we appreciate you watching the latest episode of the Midnight Monster Corner. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope we didn't ruin anything for you. Like I said, if you want to go check out this film, it is a fun one. We recommend that you watch it. It's not for the faint of hearts.
Yeah.
So if you don't like gross, grotesque gore films, you're not gonna like this. So don't attempt it. But it is on Amazon Prime Video, and you can rent it. In fact, I still have it for a couple more days, so I'm gonna probably watch it again because it is a fun film. But yeah, so look, definitely check it out if you guys haven't seen it. But with that, head over to our Facebook group and join the conversation. I'm going to be posting the next couple episodes, and yeah, just join the fun on there. Keep us going. Keep us growing.
Yeah.
Keep
us growing.
Definitely. And Tony, you kind of hit on it a little bit earlier, but you're going to be, or you're on a podcast, on a different podcast.
Yeah.
Called In the Pit, and that's going to be coming out next month.
Next month. First episode supposed to drop at the beginning of next month. I think if we line everything up the way we believe it's going to line up, yep, you should look out for it the beginning of December.
It's awesome. And metal music goes hand in hand.
Oh, yes, it does, man. Love discussing horror and metal. I can do it all day. Two great platforms, man. So yeah, definitely. If that's your thing and you're interested, come check us out.
It's awesome. But yeah, later, guys.
Later.